All right, class, so we're coming up on an important milestone in this class, which is the timed essay exam. Now, it's normal to be a little bit nervous about the timed essay exam, but remember you get 2 shots to pass a timed essay exam. So it's not something that you need to stress too much about. Yes, if you pass this one, you don't have to take the final. But if you don't pass this one for any reason, you'll have another chance to take a timed essay exam, and I keep the higher of the 2 scores for the timed essay exam. So say you totally bomb this one, you can do well on the final exam, and that will replace the score of this one. So I'm going to go over this video to give you some tips on how to succeed and how to do well on the timed essay exam. I'll also explain how it works. But it's important that if you have questions, that you post them on the question and answer board, or you reach out to me and ask, so we can get those questions answered. So first of all, let's talk about how this works. You are going to start preparing for the exam now, and you'll take this exam in the next lesson, or by Saturday night. You can take the exam before Saturday night, earlier in the week, if that works better for your schedule, but you'll need to have it completed by Saturday night, ideally. So we'll start preparing now, and you'll take it for Saturday night's lesson. The first thing to do is to make sure you have time set aside, time to prepare in this lesson, and also time to take the exam in the next lesson. Because this is a timed exam, you're going to need to have dedicated time for that exam. It's not really something that you can leave and come back and do in little chunks. You can prepare for it in chunks, but you'll need to have a full 2 hours blocked out to take the exam, as if you were taking an exam at a test center or in class. So basically you're going to need to have at least 1 to 2 hours of preparation time, and that includes watching this video. That's going towards your preparation time. You'll need to prepare for the essay exam during this lesson. You're going to also need to set aside 2 hours for the exam. Now, if you have accommodations to the Resource Center for extra test time, that will be honored for this. But for the rest of us, that will be 2 hours for the timed essay exam. So for the remainder of this lesson, you can expect to spend about 2 hours preparing for the exam. And then for the exam itself, you'll want to set aside 2 hours to take the exam, and then a little bit of extra time to do some other finishing touches, such as you'll submit a works cited page. You'll submit any questions that you have, but you won't have to complete those things within the 2 hour time limit. But you'll still want to set aside that time, just as you would for any Saturday lesson. So that means we're looking at 2 hours of preparation in the remainder of this lesson, and then about 2.5, 3 hours that you'll spend on the next lesson total. Unless you have accommodations, which will adjust the amount of time you'll spend on the next lesson. So you've got to set aside enough time, make sure you blocked out some time. And on this step, I think it's wise, if you have other things going on, if you're a parent, it might be a good idea to wait and take the exam, for example, once your kids are in bed, or during a time when you're not going to be interrupted. So make sure you schedule dedicated time that you can do this when you're not going to have to stop and then come back. Once you've set aside your time, the next step, while you're still in the preparation phase, so still part of this lesson, after you finish this video, you're going to want to go and read this article, which comes right after in the modules in week 5. So the article that you will want to read in preparation for taking the exam is called Here's How Money Really Can Buy You Happiness by David Futrell. This article is available right after this activity that you're working on right now. You want to read that before you start the exam, before you start the next lesson. This is going to help you prepare for the exam because this is the reading you will use as you take the exam. So if some students put it off and they try to read the article while they've started the exam, and you're not really going to have enough time to read the article and become familiar with it and complete the writing for the exam. You want to read it ahead of time. You want to print it out or put it in a Word document and annotate it so that you're very familiar with the article, so that when it comes time to write the exam, you can navigate this article quickly and use it as part of your exam. Use it in your paragraphs, pull out the quotes you need. So just make sure you read this article before you ever open the exam for the next lesson.